Welcome to the story of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, like you've never heard it before.
This story isn't told to you by the one Dragonborn that masters all, but told to you through the eyes of many different characters.
From soldiers in the Civil War seeking peace and order,
to seeking freedom and to remove the weakness from her lands.
From those cursed by the night, seeking to be the vigil in the darkness.
To warriors seeking honor, glory, and companionship.
To a shapeshifter and worshipper of the Daedra who seeks to live a life as a warrior.
To a mage seeking power and the arcane knowledge of Aetherius.
To assassins seeking fear and bringing the cold touch of Sithis.
To thieves seeking wealth beyond measure.
We all hope you enjoy
this story
of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Hello there, and welcome to Chapter 41, Missing in Action. To fully understand the context of this chapter, it is recommended that you watch Chapter 23, Champions of the Civil War, from 1027 to 1430, as well as Chapter 38, The Snows of Winter, from 116 to 1632. These specific sections will provide you with the necessary background information for a more comprehensive understanding of the events in Chapter 41. We hope you enjoy the chapter. Chapter 41, Missing in Action. It all happened 2 weeks ago. I was investigating reports of a possible Stormcloak ambush when an older man in Riften informed me about a gathering of people in a nearby mine. Intrigued, I went to investigate, expecting to find Stormcloaks, but instead I discovered a group of bandits. As we descended further into the depths of the cave, we stumbled upon a Dwemer ruin. Eventually, we came across a gate, and driven by curiosity, we decided to venture through and uncover what lay on the other side. When we entered the gate, it closed behind us, leaving us trapped. Another gate stood before us, and a guard had to release us from our confinement. He referred to me as the Traveler, a prophesied hero destined to save their land. As it turned out, we found ourselves on a Nordic island known as Falskar. Falskar, a Nordic island, was located approximately a day or two's sail from the Nords' ancient homeland, Altmer. Having traveled a great distance, we found ourselves stranded on Falskar with no means of returning to Skyrim. The question arose, would they assume I was dead or had gone AWOL? I had a conversation with this king of Falskar, who informed me that his lands were under attack by bandits hired by his rival residing on the opposite side of the island. He mentioned that the bandits were targeting Falskar's docks, making it difficult for any boats to sail. If there was a functioning port, there would be a boat that could potentially take us back to Skyrim. However, the bandits had damaged the boat, rendering it unable to sail. The captain of the boat assured me that he could repair it, but warned that it might take a week or two to make it seaworthy again. Since we were stranded on Falskar, we made the decision to assist the king of Falskar and his people until we could find a way to leave. One of our first missions was to launch an attack on a fort where the bandits had established their base of operations. Given that we would be stuck on the island for weeks, it was imperative that we did not allow the bandits to overrun the land. Therefore, we pledged our support to the king, or Jarl, of Amber Creek, and joined forces to combat the bandit threat and protect the people of Falskar. The king's rival had arrived in Amber Creek, searching for something of importance. He demanded to search the area, but the king firmly refused and ordered him to leave, never to return. In response, the rival warned the king that he would regret this decision. Before Ingvar arrived in Amber Creek, he had previously visited a group of priests known as the Sons of Shore. During his search, one of his men ruthlessly attacked and killed one of the priests. Ingvar was determined to find something, and he would let nothing stand in his way to uncovering it. Ingvar had conducted a thorough search of the holy site of the Sons of Shore, and now he had set his sights on Amber Creek. The locals were aware of his intentions and believed that his next target would be another settlement called Borvald. In response, Jarl Agnar entrusted me with the task of traveling to Borvald and warning its Jarl about the impending danger. Upon our arrival to warn the Jarl of Borvald, we were met with immediate hostility as the bandits sent by Ingvar launched an attack on the city. Ingvar wasted no time in his relentless pursuit of whatever he was after, searching through the bodies and ruins in his quest to find it. It was revealed that Ingvar's objective was to obtain a set of keys scattered across Falskar. These keys were said to unlock something known as the Heart of the Gods, located on the island. According to the legends, the Heart of the Gods was believed to be the heart of Shor. It was said that Shor had ripped out his own heart, which led to the creation of Falskar and made the island habitable. Prior to this event, Falskar was said to have been plagued by the frost of Altmer. Shor's act of tearing out his own heart was believed to be a protective measure for the first travelers to Falskar. Borvald fell victim to a devastating attack, and despite the Jarl's valiant efforts to defend the city, by morning there was no sign of life remaining. The events that unfolded resembled the Battle of Whiterun, marking the beginning of a full-fledged war on the island of Falskar with the sacking of Borvald. After the fall of Borvald, our group dispersed to search for the remaining 2 keys scattered across Falskar. I ventured into an ancient tomb in pursuit of one of the keys, but unfortunately, one of my soldiers met their end within those ancient halls. Despite not dying for Skyrim or the Empire, I believe he sacrificed himself for the people of Falskar. It reminds me that the Legion is not just about serving a particular faction, but about standing for justice and what is right, and being there to help anyone in need. Several days had elapsed since our arrival in Falskar, though it felt much longer. Our next objective was to uncover the location of the Heart of the Gods. However, the knowledge of its whereabouts had been lost for many years. The library that held this information had awakened and tragically claimed the lives of all those within. As a result, the people of Falskar had preserved their books and histories within an old Dwemer ruin. To reach the library, we had to take a circuitous route, navigating through mines, ancient ruins, and eventually finding a way to access the library from behind. It was a challenging journey, but one we were determined to undertake in order to uncover the secret location of the Heart of the Gods. In order to reach the Dwemer ruin where the library was located, we had to navigate through treacherous caves, spider dens, and the resting places of ancient Nord dead. The journey seemed endless, as if we were trapped within the depths of these dark passageways for hours, tirelessly searching for a way to reach the library. Within the ruins, I tragically lost brave soldiers to the deadly traps and relentless undead. These soldiers were among the finest of the 5th Legion, and while their deaths may not have brought peace and order to Skyrim, they perished while doing what was right. They fought valiantly, seeking to protect the people of Falskar from a power-hungry madman. Their sacrifice will always be remembered and honored. Upon our return to Amber Creek, it became apparent that Ingvar had taken Agnar's family hostage. They were being held captive in a nearby keep. Agnar was resolute in his determination to free his family, but it was clear that this was a trap orchestrated by Ingvar to coerce Agnar into surrendering the keys we possessed. The stakes were high, and we had to proceed with caution and strategize our next move carefully. After successfully raiding the fort, eliminating all of Ingvar's men, and rescuing Agnar's family, Ingvar himself arrived with his personal guard. He demanded that Agnar hand over the keys, promising to let everyone else leave except for Agnar. Despite knowing that Ingvar was an untrustworthy swine, Agnar made the difficult decision to sacrifice himself in order to save his family. However, it became clear to everyone that Ingvar was indeed a spineless coward who had no intention of keeping his word. In Agnar's desperation to protect his family, he reluctantly handed over the keys to Ingvar. At that moment, Ingvar ordered his men to attack and kill all of us, betraying any semblance of honor or integrity. With Ingvar in possession of all the keys to the chamber protecting the heart and the knowledge of its location, we were left with no other option but to wage war against his city, Stalgard. It was necessary to lay siege to his stronghold, aiming to capture him before he could open the chamber and acquire unimaginable powers from the Heart of the Gods. If Ingvar were to acquire the Heart, the power it possesses would be catastrophic not only for Falskar, but potentially for all of Tamriel. According to legends, the Heart is said to hold immense power, capable of holding back the frost of Altmer and creating new lands. The potential consequences of such power falling into the wrong hands would be truly devastating. It was crucial that we prevented Ingvar from obtaining the heart and unleashing its potentially catastrophic abilities on Nirn. If Ingvar were to acquire the heart, the power it possesses would be catastrophic not only for Falskar, but potentially for all of Tamriel. According to legends, the heart is said to hold immense power, capable of holding back the frost of Altmer and creating new lands. The potential consequences of such power falling into the wrong hands would be truly devastating. It was crucial that we prevented Ingvar from obtaining the heart and unleashing its potentially catastrophic abilities on Falskar and all of Tamriel. After Ingvar's mages successfully closed the barrier protecting the heart, Agnar bravely challenged Ingvar to a duel in order to buy us more time. However, Ingvar had a different target in mind. He wanted to fight me, believing that the prophecy of the Traveler was a falsehood placed upon me. While Ingvar might have had a chance against Agnar, challenging a vanguard of the Imperial Legion was a guaranteed doom.
This is going to be fun.
Ingvar was pathetic. I fought mud crabs more fearsome than him. After I embarrassed him and he knew I would end him without breaking a sweat, the coward commanded his mages to paralyze us in order to get his grubby hands on the heart. We thought it was all over, but what happened next still haunts me. What I witnessed on that day instilled a deep sense of fear in my soul. I wouldn't even wish that fate upon Ingvar. It was a dragon. A fearsome, awe-inspiring creature materialized the moment he laid his hands on the heart, forcefully ripping him away from Shor's sacred artifact. The chamber reverberated with his agonized screams, sending shivers down my spine. A dragon of all things. The sheer magnitude of what I witnessed is beyond belief. It is an experience that will forever be etched in my memory. After Ingvar was whisked away by the dragon, we buried our fallen. With the boat repaired, we embarked on the journey back to Skyrim. It took us 5 days and nights to make our way back, and as we arrived, we were greeted by the arrival of winter. I couldn't help but wonder what else had changed during my absence. Would those I know assume I had perished? It was essential for me to return to Solitude and inform the General of our mission's outcome. Moreover, I needed to reassure Luca that I had not met a tragic fate. I've lived longer in Skyrim than I have in Cyrodiil, but these damn winters, I'll never get used to them. How do the Nords manage to live here? What is it like for them? I can hear my bones rattling like an old house. I could spend the rest of my life here and never get used to these winter colds. Once this war is done, I'm buying land in Colovia, near Anvil, where I can enjoy the warmth of the sands beside the Abyssian Sea. On the way back, I overheard some disturbing rumors from guards and soldiers. They mentioned that the Stormcloaks had taken control of Whiterun. Our defenses there were thought to be impenetrable. I sincerely hope that these rumors are false, but I will find out the truth soon enough. When I entered Castle Dower, I felt a sense of unease permeating the place. It was as if uncertainty hung in the air, casting a shadow over everyone present. Even the troops appeared fearful and disoriented, lacking their usual confidence.
I can't believe we lost Whiterun. The rebels have a great advantage in controlling the center now. We must take it back.
General Tullius believed that I had perished in the rift, and there was little that could be done to locate me. Shortly after our disappearance, the Stormcloaks seized control of Whiterun. With the rift surrounded, it was eventually recaptured by the Stormcloaks. The situation has taken a turn for the worse. Now it appears that the Stormcloaks have a more than good chance of ousting the Legion from Skyrim. First and foremost, I had to go and see my daughter. General Tullius granted me a brief respite of 2 days before I would be forced back into the war. It was a small reprieve, but a precious opportunity to reconnect with my daughter before I'm sent back to war. As soon as Luca heard the door open, she knew it was me. She recognized the sound of my boots as I entered. I heard her call out, "Father!" and eagerly rushed towards me. The smile on her face brought me immense joy, a moment of pure happiness amidst all the chaos I had been through. She told me all about what she had been learning, about the 8 divines and the knowledge she had gained. She also shared stories about the friends she had made along the way. After a night's rest, I set off to meet an old friend. Amidst all the bad news I had received upon my return to Skyrim, General Tullius had some good news to share. The news was that Tullius's niece, Marillia Tullius, had returned after escaping her imprisonment in Windhelm. This was truly a moment of joy and relief. I owe a great deal to Marillia, as I wouldn't be where I am today without her help. It is imperative that I check up on her and ensure her well-being. It has been months since she was captured by the rebels, and ever since then, she has been a trophy to Ulfric Stormcloak, forced to fight in his arena. The toll of these months is evident on her body, marked by severe burns, deep scars, and the loss of vision in her right eye. She bravely shared with me the monstrous things they did to her. These bastards will pay for the atrocities they have committed against her. She told me that she was defeated at Fort Nograd, where she was captured alive by the Bearclaw sisters. It was due to her name and reputation that they decided to bring her back to Ulfric Stormcloak. These sisters would present her as a prize for Ulfric, giving him free reign over her. When Ulfric determined her fate, rather than executing her to demoralize the Legion and General Tullius, he opted to cast her into the Blood Pit. There, she would fight for her meals and serve as entertainment for the people of Windhelm. Turning her from a feared soldier of the Empire into mere entertainment for the people was a deliberate move by Ulfric. It was a way for him to demonstrate to his followers that the Empire should not be feared. Her time spent in Windhelm would become her worst battleground. She was thrown into a cage in the freezing cold with no means to keep warm. The only way she would receive food was by fighting in the arena and taking the food from those she had killed. If she refused to fight, she would be left to starve. You see, with the ongoing war, many of Skyrim's criminals emerge to prey on the innocent people. Bounty hunters capture many of them alive. Given the raging war across Skyrim, Ulfric cannot afford to waste food on bandits. If she kills them, she receives sustenance, but if they kill her, they gain their freedom. Either way, Ulfric benefits. Either a hero of the Empire is killed in a worthless pit, or she entertains Windhelm and helps cleanse it of the scum. She explained that the only time they would spare her from fighting was when she was severely injured. However, they would not provide her with food or assistance. She had to endure the suffering and fight for her survival. She admitted that there were many moments when she contemplated giving up and succumbing to death. But as the months passed, she transformed herself into a ruthless killing machine. She no longer saw herself as a legionary, but rather as a relentless force of destruction. Anything that stood in her way would meet its end at her hands. Days, weeks, and months of relentless fighting left her scarred. They tore apart her armor, leaving her with a scanty set of gear that offered little protection. The biting cold would gnaw at her, and the enemy's spells would pierce through her skin, leaving her vulnerable and exposed. If she wasn't being molested and beaten by the cruelty of the guards, she was likely fighting in the pit, awaiting the moment when death would finally claim her. She had been transformed into the very creature that Ulfric desired. Even other Imperial prisoners would engage in combat with her, hoping to earn their freedom. She would defeat them all. Outside of the pit, she resigned herself to the guards' torment, no longer having the will to resist. They had shattered her spirit and broken her body, reducing her to feeling like nothing more than a mere dog. She would obediently comply with whatever she was told. She tells me she remembered the day it all ended. She felt something strange, like a familiar presence that had once protected her. She couldn't quite explain it. In those moments, she began to sense the presence of something watching over her. Perhaps she experienced a similar feeling to what I felt when standing on the watchtower at Fort Hragstad, or when passing by that captivating Nord in Whiterun with the red stripe over her face. It was as if there was a higher power guiding and protecting her through her trials. She recounted how, after defeating her opponents, she turned around and locked eyes with a high elf who seemed familiar yet unknown to her. The high elf gazed at her with a mixture of concern and confusion on her face. She recalls the stories shared by her servants, recounting how her family was taken by the Thalmor after they captured the Imperial city during the Great War. Tragically, her family was executed by the Thalmor's general. She explained that once the Thalmor soldiers left the room, that her mother had concealed her in a clothes drawer beforehand since she was just a newborn. However, she couldn't suppress her cries, and the last Thalmor soldier who was exiting the room heard her. The Aldmeri soldier approached the drawer, opened it, and discovered her staring back. She was informed that the Aldmeri soldier stared at her, contemplating what to do. According to the servant's account, this soldier closed the drawer, glanced at them, and nodded before departing. She holds the belief that this elf who saved her was the very same elf who rescued her from the tragic fate her family had endured. She recounted her desolate state, fully expecting one of the guards come into her cell and have their way with her. However, her despair was unexpectedly interrupted when, out of nowhere, an elf materialized and swiftly killing the guard standing before her. She explained how the elf instructed her to quickly get up and change her clothes, emphasizing that they had limited time before the bodies would be discovered. With the elf's assistance, she helped Marillia put on their armor. Then the elf turned invisible and guided Marillia, assuring her that she was right in front of her, urging her to leave the Palace of Kings. The elf informed her that they would travel to Solitude by carriage, and once she reached safety, she could depart on her own. Marillia found herself confused about why this stranger would extend such kindness and protection to her in her time of need. Nevertheless, she expressed deep gratitude that finally, someone was looking out for her after enduring countless suffering. I'm glad she's now safe, and I hope she considers returning to Cyrodiil. She has truly earned her well-deserved rest. For myself, on the other hand, I must get back into the war and remind these rebels that the Empire is not defeated yet. That when backed into a corner is when the Legion shows what we are really made of. There's a reason we're red, because our enemy's blood stains our armor after victory.
Hello guys, just want to keep these stories, or these outros a little bit shorter, because I don't want them to go for like, I don't want the video tag to look like it goes for like an hour and 15 minutes when I'm just talking crap for about 20 minutes. So it's just going to be a quick, simple outro. If you guys have liked this story, please give it a like, and to get it out there a bit more with the algorithm, it'd be awesome if you guys could comment, because again, it's a conversation. I like having conversations, but it also helps with it getting out there to more people that might really enjoy these sort of stories. I don't get paid for this, I never will, because quite simply I'm using voices from real people with AI, and I'm using Elder Scrolls Online, Skyrim, and Oblivion and Blaze music. So I'll never get paid for this. I'm not here to get paid for it. I don't really care about that. I just want to kind of share what I make with other people, because they might be inspired to make their own characters, their own multiple character playthroughs, and one day I might see a video on YouTube, something that's kind of born from the idea that, you know, was born in their head from my videos, and that'd be awesome. But yeah, it'd be cool if you could like and subscribe, because more people will get to see it. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and let me know in the comments. But other than that, if you haven't, disliked it. If you don't, say it's shit. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I want to keep these outros short, and I'm going to get out of here. I'm obviously still on holidays by the time this video comes out, so I will be getting back to making stories during July. I think it's July. I will be back to making stories, but I wasn't going to do this one, but then I decided to finish it at the very end and have it out there ready to go for May, because I don't want to just have one story. I wanted two, at the start of May and the end of May. This is the end of May story. So yeah, again, I will get back to telling stories when July kicks around, and I like this one because it's kind of in the space where I can leave it sitting for a month, and you know, time in Skyrim can progress a month into the story just like how I'm gone. But anyway, I'm out of here. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and yeah, keep yourselves safe. Catch you later.